Okay, so we're starting from I'm going to review what we're up to till now so that we could go straight into the next ICIs, because they're very, very important details that we have to take with us throughout our day-to-day lives. And so I want to hold on to these ideas that we understood last week and from the other weeks, and then take it with us as we continue, and maybe we'll finish today. We'll see what happens. Okay, so first I'm going to put forward a couple of important points, and then we're going to get into something else. Okay, so what we understood is that in order to fulfill Hashem's desire what did Hashem have a desire for? To have the pleasure of his essence being fully revealed in the lowest, most dense world. Okay. And what did we learn? That we were chosen to be, we chose to be the aspect of Hashem who were entrusted to transform the darkness of the Sitra Achra into the revelation of the highest light of Hashem's essence into the lowest world. So we are one with Hashem, and we are the aspect of Hashem, the holiest aspect of Hashem, which is the Jewish people. And we chose to be the ones to take on that role and go into the body and have that wear that costume as a human being, the mission to reveal Hashem's essence in the densest world. Now, why does it have to be? Why does it have to be that Hashem? The truth is, Hashem's essence could only be revealed in the densest world. Why? Because anything less than that is sort of like trying to find something in the light of the sun. You can't distinguish, and so therefore there has to be a density which allows you to separate between things, so that you could actually see the difference between every single aspect of Hashem, versus when there's no density, then it gets lost in the sun. So that's why if Dafka has to be in this lowest, darkest world, that we could, that's the only place we could reveal Hashem's essence. So we took on this mission to reveal Hashem's essence, but the truth is that in order to reveal Hashem's essence, the Rebbe says it has to be apparent that while we're doing it, we are one with Hashem's essence. That means that there's no aspect of us shut down. We are fully into our entire being. There's nothing of us shut down. Somebody could mute, right? Because if there's anything of us shut down, that's not the essence. The essence is the entire being. Who are you? If part of you is shut down and you're not being true to yourself, you're not revealing your essence, okay? So it has to be apparent that we are one with our essence, which is who we really are. Everybody's different, right? And the Rebbe says, unlike the previous Avodah, which was about revelation of Hashem in the way that Hashem related to the world. So we sort of had this duality relationship. There's us and there's Hashem, and Hashem, if we do this strong, we're going to get that. And that whole relationship that we had with Hashem, now in order to create this dir v'tachtainim, this home for Hashem, it has to be that we don't have that relationship. We realize that we're actually an aspect of Hashem, and there's a lot more to us than we had access to before, and we have the kalim to be able to use them, and they are the most powerful lights, and we're able to use them, but without connecting to our essence, without using all the aspects of ourselves, we cannot create the dir b'tachtainim. Okay, so that's very important to know. It's not like, okay, well, we don't have to, we could also do things the old ways. The Rebbe says, no, it has to be apparent that, and it's different, the Rebbe said, it's different than the past. You have to show up differently than you showed up in the past. Okay, another point. Yeah.
I'm just thinking about, first of all, hi, everyone.
Hi.
Also, no, we always, I mean, I've learned this concept many times, but what you were just saying, like, I see it more, like, I guess clearly, like physically, like there's Hashem, which is the infinite light, like the sunshine. And then if it was all sunshine always, then there would have, like we know, it would have been void, right? There couldn't have been that separation. So Hashem put all these mechitzas up to block the light. And we've been basically living like just with the mechitza, just the blockage. And then the mechitzas is to separate, like each person is an own individual. And then there's the trees and there's the animals and there's all different parts of Hashem. So to distinctly see the difference, but then each one has the sun inside of it.
Right.
So
exactly.
There's like, all these separations, but then within each separation, our job is to illuminate the full sunshine within the separation.
Exactly. To be able to see the whole sun with everything in it separate in a certain way and recognize it's all part of the sun. And the Rebbe goes into that, actually. He gives an example of the sun. So, okay, so now we learned that in order to reveal our essence, part of it is that you have to be living in the condition that you were prior to descending down here, where you were one with all aspects of yourself, nothing suppressed, nothing concealed. So now you have to, now that, and the Rebbe is going to say, how do you reveal all aspects of yourself? But the Rebbe was saying that now you have to start living in a way that with the full version of yourself, you are now able to be most beautiful, expansive, loving, compassionate, authentic, humble, relaxed, joyous, true self as Yisrael. Okay, and you're not limited to the linear tikkun of Yaakov. Now you're becoming Yisrael, which is a lot more, and it's actually more expansive and beautiful and soft and all that. We're going to get to what it takes to do that. So the Rebbe says that ki Seitzei l'melchama alayvecha, when you go, now, okay, I'm going to get more into the details soon, but I'm just bringing a few points. So now the Rebbe says, because we are now ready to reveal our essence, we have to go about the war in a different way, right? We have to go about the war in a way of like that we're already in Eretz Yisrael, that we're living a more calm and peaceful life. And when we do that, now in order to do that, we have to realize that the things that we thought were our opposers, our enemies, are when we come from a perspective, that we're really, who we really are is transcendent, we're essence. Then we realize that there's very high lights in the Tohu lights. That's the ace of lights. That's all the things we suppressed. So what are the things we suppressed? Pleasure, passion, physicality, feminine, emotions, body, mundane, all that things that we look down at. Now we have to realize that really those things are what make us truly who we are. Those are the things we shut down because we weren't ready. And so we realize that that's really part of our essence. So it's no more an enemy. It's not an opposer anymore. It's that you have to use it appropriately. And then you redeem captives. What do you mean you're redeeming the captives? Because those things were like, before we were able to use it, they were like owned by the other side. They were like sort of imprisoned by the sitra achra, right? And we didn't really have access to them. We didn't know how to use them. So we're redeeming those very, very high holy lights, which allow us to show up in the most beautiful way and reveal that we're Yisrael, we're one with Hashem from the other side, which is the sitra achra. We're not saying the sitra achra is not our enemy, if you want to call it, but there's very high lights that they were guarding, which we didn't use before. And the Rebbe says, and this alludes to what are we talking about? The 268 sparks of the world of Tohu. Okay, and these fell and were captured in the material things of the world. So if you need any clarity on what we're talking about, when the Rebbe says we have to use the lights of Tohu, the Rebbe is saying it very clearly These are the 260 sparks of 68 sparks of Tohu. Now you have to remember this number 268. We're going to get to it again. Very interesting, fascinating how the Rebbe plays around with letters, and the number 268 is very essential. So this is in the material things of the world, and when you do that, you're able to receive the lights of Tohu, which are higher than the lights of Tikkun. Okay. Not that Tikkun is not essential, but Tohu just takes everything to the next level, as we discussed last week. Okay, when we add that to our lives, we become who we really are. And we're so much more beautiful. And this world is a softer, more peaceful, loving, compassionate world than it was before. Tikkun is more the masculine, rules and order and hierarchy and rigidity and, you know, all that stuff. It has its place and we still need it, but there's a lot more that makes this a world that everybody could like feel at home in, and particularly that Hashem is everybody. So Hashem will feel at home in this world when we start redeeming those lights in the physicality. Okay, so now what's very interesting is that last week the Rebbe, remember I kept on saying buy one, get one free? Like the Rebbe was saying, when you do this, when you add the lights of Tohu to your service, you will accomplish this, you will accomplish that, and you will accomplish that, right? So I made a list of 12 things, I'm sure there's more, that you accomplish when you start using the Tohu lights, which the Rebbe said is the treasure chest. He said you have a treasure chest that was previously locked up. And now the Rebbe said, this was in 1991, you have the key and you could open it up. You have permission. He said the word permission to open it up and use it as needed. And every moment of the day that you need it, you have permission. And we have to just recognize it's like connect to this. This is the next step, including these lights into your day. It's not optional because you cannot be your true self if you're not using these lights. So, you know, you cannot be in the old Avodah and bring Mashiach. You have to reveal your essence. If part of you is shut down, you are not revealing your essence. Okay, and you need you need to listen to your body. Don't forget, we learned Yirmiyahu said that Hashem is going to communicate to us through our body and through our hearts, right? And I'm going to communicate everything through your hearts and your bodies. And we understood through the sicha that what was the Torah Chadasha is the holiness, the truth about the holiness of the feminine lights that were suppressed before. So it's like, it makes so much sense now. Everything comes together, of course, because when our body says, I'm tired or I'm upset, what do I need? It's Hashem telling you what you need. So that's Hashem talking to you. And the Rebbe said, this is the new mitzvos, ritzanecha, of your will that we're going to have when Mashiach comes. And we're accessing it right now. Okay, so what are anyone want to say anything before I continue? Okay, so 12 things that I came up with, okay? And that most of it was in that, what we reviewed last week. So number one is when we use these lights that are in the treasure chest, the Tohu lights, what are we accomplishing? First of all, we're transforming this world into a comfortable home for Hashem. Okay, what was missing before? The feminine, the soft, the loving, the beautiful, the pleasure, the passion, all the comfortable aspects of Hashem. And that's why we related to Hashem as somebody harsh and punitive. And now, you know, we're able to relate to Hashem in a so much more beautiful way and realize Hashem is so loving. But also we are able, when we're more softer, when we soften ourselves, we could relate to others in a nicer way, in a non-judgmental way. And that's how we create peace for the whole world. Everybody should be able to get along. You know, when we start being so hard on ourselves, and that requires that we tune in to the heart and the body and understand what we need to use from that treasure chest. That's number one. Number two is that you finally get to shine your true essence as the Bikurim, right? The Rebbe says that the Jewish people are the bikurim, they're the first fruits. And when we shine this light, it becomes, we become true to ourselves as Yisrael. And then the whole world recognizes that we are the bikurim, okay? Now, another thing, 3, we create geula within ourselves, and we are a micro world. So first of all, we ourselves feel more peaceful, joyous, confident, whatever it is. So we have a relaxed, less stress. And because we're a microcosm of the world, we're creating geula for the world while we're doing it for ourselves, which is amazing. The beauty is, like I always say, you don't have to go anywhere. You could do it in your house and change the whole world. And that's so, so powerful. Number 4, you become a true merkava for Hashem, right? In order to know what do you need, what do you have to access from the treasure chest? You have to get out of the way, to get your ego out of the way. Don't get the shoulds. I have to, or get whatever everybody thinks and all that out of the way, and tune in and let Hashem tell you. And through trial and error, you'll learn the language, and you'll see that it only brings good and peace and calm and joy. And so we become a true merkava, and Hashem tells us what he wants to express through us at every moment of the day. So that's Ritzayin Hashem. That's the new mitzvos of Ritzayin Hashem. And it could be anything, because there's no separation between ruchnis and gashmis. If he says that he wants to say chitas, then he wants to say chitas. If he says right now you're stressed out, you need a nap, that's what you got to do. You got to listen to Hashem. That's another thing. Now, number 5, you get the reward for all the service of the past generations. So you're getting payment on the day of our service. And the Rebbe says that he said, why is there mitzvah talking about the grapes that the workers could eat in the vineyard, right? And then there was another mitzvah about they could eat wheat in the vineyard. And the Rebbe said, because not only does Hashem have to pay us with our staples, he has to give us pleasures and luxuries. And that's part of our salary. Okay, so that's a taste of the time when we're going to be relaxing under the fig trees. So the Rebbe says we have to live our lives this way, but in a real way, and tune in. What's going to make you feel relaxed, even though we're still in gulls? What do you need right now? Okay. Next. Every time, the Rebbe said, every time you choose to live in a manner which reveals our essence, okay, we get rewarded with schar mitzvah. We get more opportunities to reveal more geula and das of Hashem. Because what happens, Hashem will give you a challenge, and then you figure out through using these tools in the treasure chest how to get back to your peaceful, joyous self. So not always are you going to be in the right space, but you're on the train, okay? And then you have all these different options of how to get and listen to what Hashem wants from you, and he wants to communicate something new to you, and you understand, oh, that's why, because Hashem wanted to tell me that I need to be kinder to myself. I need to be more compassionate to myself. That's okay, now I understand now, okay? Or I need to deal with some past traumas or whatever it is. And then when you do it, you feel so much better and happier, and now you're in a better place. So that's the schar mitzvah. Okay, so right, the Rebbe said added mitzvos of Ritzayinecha. So now the new mitzvos is that Hashem is propelling us forward to more and more geula. We get to heal more. You heal. Now you enjoy the pleasure of feeling better, and then Hashem gives you another challenge, which you now don't get angry about anymore, hopefully, but you see it as another opportunity to take off another layer and get closer to Hashem and feel more one with Hashem. And when we do this work, people who are doing this work are actually experiencing that. And you get to a point where you're like, you could be going through who knows what, and you just feel joy, and you don't even know how it's going to turn out, and you don't even care. And you're just feeling happy, and you don't know why, for no reason. You're happy, you're feeling at peace, because you learned how to tune in and give yourself what you need at every moment. And you are able to now go through the waves of the ocean, the highs and the lows, and still feel that peace and joy at every moment. Okay, that's what we say. That was 6. Number 7, we're putting into practice Torah Chadasha of Moshiach, right? The Rebbe said that in the time of Geula, there's going to be a new Torah, and that's Torah Moshiach, and it comes from Hashem's essence. So now we're connecting to essence, and that is also being mekabel pnei Mashiach, the pnimius, right? How do we access what we need to do? We tune into the pnimius of our heart, right? We get let go of any superficial motivation, and we tune in, and we can try to get to the truth. And it could be anything. That's the beauty. It could be the most mundane thing, like chopping trees, whatever it is, right? That's the beauty. So we're getting to put into practice this Torah Chadasha. We were told there's going to be Torah Chadasha, and that's Torah's Mashiach, and it has to do with Hashem's essence. And now we're understanding. So we're putting that new Torah, which is really, as we discussed, an enhancement of what the Torah is already, because it allows us to fulfill the mitzvos in a better way, in a more authentic way. Okay, so this is how we're mekabel pnei Mashiach, the pnimius. We're receiving the pnimius Torah of Mashiach, and we're mekabel because we're putting it into action. We're not just keeping it into our head and like, oh, very nice, very nice, very nice. No, to receive is to really take it serious and to use it. So that is the fulfillment in action. And Torah's Mashiach is the holiness of the light of the feminine. That's a Torah's Mashiach. The previous Torah was focused on the masculine light, and that allowed us to live like in a separation between us and Hashem. Now that we have to have the unity, that requires tuning into the highest truth, the pnimius, the feminine light. That's Torah's Mashiach, is the holiness of the feminine light. And we elaborated, that's the Tohu light. That's the things that could, create chaos if you don't know how to use it. But we're ready to do it, and we're doing it. Okay. Next, number 8. This is how we become one with Hashem. Okay. I said in many ways, but this is how, right? We talk about the Nisuin, and that's why I'm saying this now, because we're going to get into it. One of the goals is also to be one with Hashem, right? And to have a marriage with Hashem. So how do we become one with Hashem? Is, again, by using these Tohu lights as needed, tuning in to what comes through the pnimius of our heart and our bodies, by tuning in and putting into practice and doing the work, the healing work that we're doing. Whoever's doing the work is doing. And Baruch Hashem, we are seeing a lot of success, and we're feeling more one with Hashem. And one example of feeling more one with Hashem is that we're accessing natural emunah b'tachon. When we do the work, it's not like we have to tell ourselves, oh, think these thoughts, and then you're going to feel calm and at peace, and you're going to trust Hashem. No, when you do the work, there's no agenda. You just do the work. Okay, I'm not feeling okay. What do I need to do? What do I need to do now? And you just stay on the train, and one day you realize that everything is chaotic around me, or whatever. Things aren't always perfect, but I am feeling okay, and I trust Hashem, and I don't even know how it's going to end. I don't know, but I'm feeling good. I'm feeling joy. That's emunah b'tachon. It's like, I don't need to know. You surrender. I don't need to know how it's going to end. I don't even have to have faith that it's going to turn out the way I want it to turn out. I let go of that. Everything is good, and I'm just doing what I need to do. That's it. Emunah b'tachon, and you can feel calm and joy, but you can't force yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. You can't force yourself. It's a process. It's doing the work, and then you find yourself there. That's how it is. It's so beautiful. You just one day you say, hey, things aren't perfect, but I'm feeling great. I'm feeling joy. I'm feeling peace. I'm in the moment. I'm not thinking the future. I'm not thinking about the past. That's a great place to be. Okay. Through this work, we are, the Rebbe said that da matan das Scharen, I don't know exactly the words, Scharen shel tzadikim. The Rebbe brought in the Perkei Avos that it was, I think, Perek Beis of that week, where it says da, you should know what's the reward of the tzaddikim. And so specifically the word da is das, to know Hashem, right? And when we do this work, we realize we start really like knowing Hashem. We understand Hashem, and we don't question. And it's not a forced thing, it's a very natural thing. And you start realizing Hashem's greatness and awesomeness without even having to, it's just a natural, because you're connecting to your natural selves, which is one with Hashem, you start really getting and grasping Hashem. So that's another thing that happens. You see, there's so many things that are happening when we're doing this Avodah. Okay, number 10. Like we said before, and like Muhammad shared with us last week, the Rebbe said that when we do this, when we add these lights, we're able to do the Torah more easily, to complete the intent of creation. The Rebbe said these words. We're able to do it more easily in order to complete the intent of creation. So it makes our Torah mitzvos easier, that's number one, and it's more authentic. We're not just doing it habitually. It's coming from a good place. It's coming from emes, because we're one with Hashem, and we're more surrendered, and we're more relaxed, and we have more love. So everything is just on a whole different level. Okay. Number 11, particularly to women, we learned the Chaf B'Shvat Sicha, where the Rebbe said that when we are able to connect to our light source, and B'dafka women are sourced in the mundane and the gashmias. So it's this, what we're learning is sort of more for us than for the masculine, but the masculine have their share in it, but it's more for us. So for example, they might, when they need to relax, it might not be the same as ours, okay? But they have to still tune in, and they have to recognize that they do have to listen to their body and to the heart, but it might not be that they have to do the same things that we're doing. They have a different mission, okay? But for women, it allows us to finally be the Akaras Habayis, okay? We're finally able to be that. What does it mean to be the Akaras Habayis? To know that you are the energy of your home. If you want your home to be peaceful, you don't have to work to get everybody to stop fighting. You have to make sure your energy is in a good place. And when your energy is in a good place, everybody is calm. Okay? So that's what it means to be the Akaras Habayis. But we couldn't be like that when we were in denial of what we needed. And we were martyrs, and we forced ourselves to show up in ways which weren't true to ourselves, but that's what we understood. We thought that's what we needed to do, and that's what we did. But then don't forget, we've been in Galus because of that, because everybody, it brings out negativity. And then you give birth to kids, and then, some kid, whatever, it affects the kids. And listen, that's Hashem's plan. But the bottom line is now we have a way out. We don't have to always get mixed into fights. The kids are fighting, go do something nice for yourself, put yourself in a good place, connect to your light. You'll see they forgot why they were fighting by the time you're finished. Okay?
Bracha.
Yeah.
I just have an example of this
Sure.
that happened to me this week. So, it's so amazing because a lot of times, like, let's say with me and my husband, I always felt it's like when you don't have like full alignment with yourself, they're like energies are crossed, right? And things get just so confusing. So it's so interesting. Like, I mean, this is very open, but whatever. It's a good example. Like, last week, like my husband and I were like totally like flowing, like in such a beautiful way. And like everything, like he was very present. I was very present. And it was like so amazing. And then Shabbos was great. Matzah Shabbos, like the second Shabbos ended, he just like his energy shifted. And like, he like ran to his phone, and he just like, and then he was like more irritable and like a little more snappy, and like right away I went into like, oh my gosh, like I had a vision of like that we would connect Matzah Shabbos, and it would be nice. And I like my old energy was like, okay, like what's going on? Like try to fix this and bring you guys back together. But because of all this work, Baruch Hashem, that I've been doing, and thanks to a lot of your help, I was like, oh, like I didn't change anything. Like he went into a different mode. Okay. So I don't like just keep taking care of me. So I just like totally let it go. And I was like, okay, switch my plans. Like I'm gonna go do my thing. And like I just totally like I took a bath and I did my own thing, whatever. And then Sunday again, he was like in that mode. And I was like, a few times I had to like go in like to my room and just be like, Nakama, this is not yours. This is not yours. Like it's disappointing, but like whatever, there's nothing you can do. Like just keep being in a good place. So I kept taking care. And like midday Sunday, he came to me and he's like, Nakama, I don't know, like I feel irritable. I don't know, since Matzah Shabbos, like something's going on, whatever. And I was like, very interesting, whatever. I totally, and like by Sunday evening, like he totally, because I gave him all the space and I just took care of me, by Sunday night, he like worked it out. He went in, he figured it out, and he was back on track. And it was like so miraculous because it's like we think like we need to fix it or make the relationship or make it better or help him out. And it's like, by me just taking care of me, it was so miraculous. Like I didn't have to like get involved in the drama. I protected my own energy and it gave him space to own his own stuff. And if I would have been in the way, he would have made it about me because I would have just been in the way, like a good punching bag, you know? It was very miraculous.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And that's exactly what the Rebbe says in the sicha, that when we connect to our light and we're connecting to this expansive, uplifted energy, it's like Saivev, right? The Eshes Chayil Ateres Bala, right? So just by connecting to that light, we uplift them that they could get out of their own things that they need to get out of. So we don't have to bedafka tell them anything. We could be in our light and then affect that everybody else figures out how to get out of their stuff. It's so powerful. When you see it in reality, it's beautiful. And that's what that's the new Avaida for the women in the Chafesh Matzicha is to, and it says also that, and Hashem, also you're uplifting Hashem out of Tzimtzum, you're getting Hashem to be more expansive as well. So it's beautiful, but the truth is everybody's Hashem. So like you just have to create that energy. That's your job, and watch what happens. And that's the beauty. And there's one more. When we as a chosen nation, as the Kala, do the service of Seitzei, Mechama, via peace and serenity, then that's when the status and situation that was before creation is, okay, we said this already. I said this already, is apparent in the Jewish people. That's when everybody will realize that we are the Bikurim, we're the chosen ones, and they're going to want us to live in Eretz Yisrael. And they're going to realize, like, we're not just ordinary. And in the past, like, there were a lot of anti-Semites, right? So why did they hate the Jews? Because they sensed there was something special about the Jews, and it got them upset. And so they had they couldn't handle the light, so they had to destroy us, right? Now, because we're using the light in its real way, and we're like fully shining in such a more beautiful, less arrogant, soft, inclusive, and it's just so much more peaceful way and compassionate way. Now they're able to see that we're Taka, the Bikurim, but it's not going to get them jealous. It's going to get them to recognize how holy we are and how special we are. And the Rebbe says, they themselves will know we have arrived when they, and I think a lot of non-Jews are already, recognizing the holiness of the Jewish people. I've read a lot of articles where, first of all, there's so many Gerim in all these countries, in Guatemala and here and there, they're like communities of Gerim, and they're recognizing the holy, and even non-Jews, there are a lot of non-Jews who recognize the holiness of the Jewish people, and they're embracing it. So it's at least we could thank ourselves, for doing the work, because the Rebbe says, you just do it in your house and it affects the whole world, that they start recognizing. And eventually that's how we're going to have Gula. Okay. So anything else before we go to the material that we're up to? Okay. So I'm going to do share screen and okay. Share, right? Did I say share? I hope it's coming up. Yeah. Okay. So we are up to, we're middle of Isyut, okay? Okay, 1 second. Okay, this we said already. Okay, Isyut Alef. Okay, now we're middle of Isyut Alef, but I'll just go quickly through, and then we're going to get to the part that we're up to. Okay, so according to this, we could explain also the continuity of the Parshas of Seitzei and Seitzei, which is emphasized by reading them in one Shabbos. The continuity of the Parshas alludes to the fact that the service of Seitzei l'machama alayvecha, for you will go out to war on your enemies, which refers to the generality of our deeds and service in the world, and particularly in the time of Galus, is done in the way of Kisavai el haaretz, and you will come to the land, and immediately, v'yarashta v'yashafta ba, and you will inhabit and dwell in her. So that's relevant to the true and complete redemption through Mashiach Tzidkenu, as we said above in Eis Gimel. Okay, so the Rebbe is saying is that what's the point? Why are these parshas one after the other? And why, like we read Seitzei in Shacharis and Kisavai in Mincha, where one is talking about war and the other one is talking about peace? Because it's now telling us that we have to do our work in a way of Kisavai el haaretz, like the reward, in a way of calm and peace and serenity. It's no more about being stressed out and getting one more thing in. It's about being and tuning into what Hashem wants you to do, and that allows, and using the Tohu lights, and then immediately v'yarashta v'yashafta ba, and you'll be able to live in peace. Okay, it is such that also the service of war in the clarification of the world is in the way of peace and serenity, because in the time of service, Hayom Lasaisam, today is to do them, the status and situation that was before creation is apparent in the Jewish people. Okay, so again, the Rebbe is saying that when we do this work this way, we're able to see taka that you know, we're able to shine our essence, which is how that we're one with Hashem, right? The essence is that we're one with Hashem. So we're able to see taka that we're one with Hashem when we do it this way. And through them in the world, and that is, like we said above, the status of Seitzei and you will go out, and the status of the situation of the future to come, Kisavai, and you will come. Okay. And therefore, the service of the war is through the knowledge and recognition that in the truth of the matter, there is no genuine reality of the opposer, right? Because these are just highlights that were imprisoned. There's no opposer. When you're living and recognize that all these things are part of your essence, there is no opposer, because the situation is that on your enemies, transcendent from your enemies. Okay, when you're recognizing that you are much bigger than what we're dealing with in the world, you're really, your being is so much bigger, and really those are your lights. Okay, and thus her function and purpose is literally that Hashem, your God, will give her into your hands, and more than that, 1 second, and you will take his captives. What do you mean his captives? The captives of your enemy. Who's the enemy? The Sitra Achra. So specifically, this alludes to the 268 sparks of the world of Tohu, which is the source of Ivecha, your opposer, that fell, and were captured in the material things of the world. Okay? So that's what we need to access. All those lights in the material things of the world, which we stayed away from before, which through the service of a Jew in their clarification, they become, and you will take captives, which is that you are also able to receive the lights of Tohu, the unbound lights of Esav, which are higher than the lights of Tikkun, the bound lights of Yaakov. Now, I do remember that the Rebbe said through this it will be revealed Yisrael, but I might have left out the paragraph here, but I'm going to look it up after the class because I don't see it here. Okay, as alluded to in what is written in the continuation of the parsha, the Haya haben habachar l'snia, and it will be the oldest son of. It will be that the oldest son of the hated wife. Okay, there's a halacha about the oldest son of the hated wife. Okay, so what is this about? This is about a man that has two wives. He has one that he loves and one that he hates. Okay. Now, what happens if his oldest son happens to be the son of the hated wife, and he passes away and he leaves a Yerusha. Okay. So what's the halacha? Does the money, the oldest son gets double, right? Does the money go to the son of the loved wife, or does it go to the son of the hated wife? Okay, so what is the halacha? Through the clarification of this world, the hated, we draw down the lights of Tohu that precede the Bechar, the oldest, the lights of Tikkun. Okay, so what the halacha is that the double money belongs to the hated son because he's the Bechar. And so too, who's the hated son? Tohu. All these years, we suppressed the Tohu lights, but these are actually the highest lights. The halacha is that the hated son, which is the lights of Tohu, are the Bechar. They're actually higher than the lights of Tikkun. And more than this, through this, it becomes revealed in the world our true essence. You get it? I'm trying to make it so clear, like it's not just like a fantasy. This is the reality. Only through connecting to these Tohu lights and using them as needed can we reveal our true essence, which is that a Jew, Yaakov, preceded, we have Bikurim, first fruits, and transcends the world of Tohu prior to the Tzimtzum constriction, okay? As the situation and status of the world was prior to creation of the world. I do remember the Rebbe saying, and this is the revelation of Yisrael, but I don't see it here for some reason, so like I said. What? Somebody had a question? Okay. So I added here footnote 70, which I didn't have before because it's very interesting. Remember the 248 sparks? So look what the Rebbe says. And we could say that this alludes to what is written in Bereshis, V'ruach Elokim Mirafeches, if I believe, if that's correct. If I'm saying it wrong, please correct me. Al Panei Hamayim, and the spirit of Hashem was hovering over the face of the water. The Rebbe says this is the rucho shel Moshiach, the spirit of Mashiach, as it was in the beginning of creation. As for this, it was created from the beginning. Okay, so the spirit of Mashiach, the Rebbe is going to say here, is actually those lights. Those sparks of light that are hovering and waiting to sort of re-enter the world when it's time. Because that was, for that purpose, it was created from the beginning. And how do we know that? Because the root of the letters Mira Chefes are the letters Resh Ches Fei, which are the Refach, the 268 sparks of Tohu. For their objective and purpose, via our deeds and service in the Biur clarification of them, is the revelation of rucho shel Moshiach, the spirit of Mashiach, which hovered from the beginning of the creation. So those lights were in a treasure chest that was locked up, and we didn't have permission to use them, so they hovered. And when we access them now, we are sort of bringing the rucho shel Mashiach into the world, and we're revealing Mashiach. Could you imagine? This has been here for 30 years. Where have we been? Okay. And more, and also mainly, the service must be through peace and serenity, because you will come to the land and you will inhabit and dwell in her. Literally, menuchas hanefesh and menuchas haguf, body and soul at peace. For through this, Hashem gives every Jew all his needs, the physical and the spiritual. So what we have to understand here is, we learned this in the Shua sicha, is that when we're living this way, through a state, through being and calm and peaceful, and we're let go, Hashem gives us everything we need. We don't have to chase after it anymore. We're in a whole new realm where we're a magnet and things come to us. But we have to live this life first and let go and trust. But it's not easy. We have to do the work. It's not, we can't just trust. When we do the work, we'll find out that we trust, but it's like just peeling off the layers and doing what we need to do. And then we realize that, hey, I'm at peace. I don't know how anything's going to happen, but I feel good. I feel taken care of. I don't even have money in the bank, but I feel good. Let's say, whatever, So the Rebbe says that it has, the key is that you have to like sort of be in charge of your life. You have to be in tune with your energy at every single moment. Am I feeling at peace? If not, what's getting in the way? What do I need to do to feel more at peace? It's avodah. It's not just like a fantasy, that, oh, we have to convince ourselves we're at peace. We all create chaos. Everybody's stressed out, and then just convince ourselves, and that's how we're going to bring Mashiach. No, that's the service. Figure out what you got to do. Figure it out every moment of the day. Let go of this, let go of that. Don't care what people think. If you're not feeling well, take it easy. Listen to your body. Relax. And you're going to start seeing that things come to you. You don't have to chase anything, but we have to like trust the process. And then through this, you understand, Hashem gives every Jew all his needs, the physical and the spiritual, from his full, open, holy, and expansive hand from the outset, due to the necessity of the need of the service itself, and not under the premise of reward. Okay? Because Hashem, it's like how do you explain? I don't know how to put in the right words, but basically, it's like a catch-22, but in a positive way. It's like when you let go and start living a more peaceful life, Hashem has to give you more peace and joy, because that's sort of like not the reward, but that's necessary to live more peace and joy. You see what I mean? It's like whoever has the right words for it, I'm not exactly, you see, but it's not a reward anymore. When we get onto this train, now it's necessity to propel us forward. Hashem has to we have to see that we're like a magnet. We don't have to chase anymore. So Hashem is part of the service. You start getting feedback. You let go, and in a true way, you'll see certain things start coming to you. You don't have to chase them.
Yeah,
sure.
Oh, sorry. Sure. Yeah, it's a good time. So this last Shabbos, so my husband has COVID, and he is sitting in our guest room out back. And I have two boys living with me who slept through the entire Shabbos. And so I cooked a beautiful dinner, and I was all alone. Mm-hmm. Well, I wasn't alone. This is the chiddush that was amazing, is that I got all dressed up and I sat down at my table, which was stunning and gorgeous, and all my crystal and china. And I have a picture of the Rebbe in my dining room. And so I sat down with that, and I had in mind this, this oneness with Hashem. Like, I'm here with Hashem. I'm not alone. So there was this is what you just said. There was even inside of me, I did not feel alone. There was nothing that felt lonely or alone or neglected or poor me, nothing. And then I read the entire, like the Kiddush and everything, and Eishes Chayil in English, slowly to myself, which is, my husband doesn't do that. Mm-hmm. So I was taking in all the words, and I was taking in all the brachas. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, does anyone even know what is here? And it was an extraordinary evening. And then I did some learning, and this is what you're saying. It's like, if I were my old me, I would be like, oh, it's going to be lonely and my kids are sleeping and I'm all by myself. But it was, the circumstance was what it was. And then I was in this Geula mindset, and it was like probably one of my best Shabbos. And then lunch, the same thing. Like, they're all sleeping, and it was like, okay, Hashem wanted this. Hashem wanted everyone sleeping. He wanted my husband sick. He wanted him in oneness in the back, and the pleasure.
And you had this beautiful experience.
Yeah,
it's such a beautiful. And
it was great.
Yeah, start living like that. Okay, like how do I show up in the best way now? But yeah, it's a whole different way than in the past. And it's like, people ask, like, is the pleasure ruchnius or gashmius? And they're like, there's no ruchnius and gashmius. It's one. Like, people say, oh, the reward, the pleasure that we're going to have when Mashiach comes, that's a spiritual pleasure. No, there's no spiritual pleasure, there's no physical pleasure. Right. It's like it could be anything. It's like, just like feeling, wow. It could be from your experience. Oh, that was so special. It could be from feeling good when you're sick and relaxing, and now you feel good and you feel loved. Like, when I don't feel well, I listen to myself and I lay down, the reward is I feel loved. It's amazing. Never knew that. Just to that's what Hashem wanted. Because how do I know? Because I feel so loved now. I feel so good. So like, that's the pleasure. It's not like, it's a different kind of pleasure. It's not the pleasure, yes, you can have pleasure from a tasty fruit, but this is like, it could be anything. Hashem's pleasure is in everything, and you have it from many different things and experiences, and that's the beauty.
I want to share one more thing that preceded this, which was really amazing and very vulnerable, and I think it's important to say, is that I'm just working through some things with my husband, and I really authentically did not feel like I was like, in my head, I see us having fun, but then when I'm in front of him, I don't enjoy him. And then he got COVID and then he went out into the back. And I thought, oh my gosh, like we shouldn't feel bad or ashamed or anything of like what we're feeling. There's a truth to it. And it was really quite extraordinary. And that's what brought on this peaceful, wonderful Shabbos of me really enjoying a lot of it. So it was all integrated. It wasn't,
Yes.
It didn't go into like analyzing this or that. It was all part of it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. So this is exactly what we're talking about. Okay. As the Rambam states in regards to the physical compensations of Torah that we were promised, that they will be removed from us anything that holds us back from performance, such as illnesses, war, famine, and the like, and it will flow to us all the good and will strengthen our hands to be able to do the Torah, such as satiation, peace, great amounts of gold and silver. Amazing. Okay, so these are the rewards: satiation, peace, great amounts of gold and silver. And to add to this, also under the premise of payment of the reward, which must be given in the time of Hayom Lasai, this day do them, like now, and beyond my Titein Scharai, payment on the day of, and not just spiritual reward. The Rebbe says not only spiritual reward, and more of the revelation of the light of Ein Sof, blessed be He, but also physical reward as a foretaste and example of the physical reward that we will have in the days of Mashiach. For in that time, we will not have famine or war. The good will be in great abundant flow, and all the finest delicacies of the earth, goodness and delights, also in the physical, as the outcome of the revelation of the infinite light of blessed be He in the world. Okay, but it's through our living this way. There's no way out. You have to start tuning in, using these lights as needed, and all the stuff that you shared, everything. That is how you're going to start living one with Hashem, feeling the pleasure, and while we're in Galus. So that is like, we're living it. Even if not everything is perfect, we're definitely seeing it. And we could connect with what is said above to the content of the time in which we read these Torah portions, as is known that the set times, Moedim, of every year, in each one there is a relevance to the Torah portions that they fell out on in the month of Elul. The month of Elul is the last month of every year. In it, we make a cheshbon tzedek. We take honest inventory of our service of the whole year in order to correct and complete all the matters of service in Torah, prayer, and acts of benevolence to the service of tshuva, return, as is alluded to in what is written in our Torah portion. And her father and mother cried over her, Yerach Yamim. What does this mean? That when a soldier is in Milchemet's mitzvah, when he finds a captive girl, he brings her back. He has to allow her to cry for her father and mother for a month before he is intimate with her. Okay, so that's the idea of that the month of Elul, we have 30 days of introspection and seeing what we could do different. But I could see this now, like we could think of it. What do you mean doing tshuva? Like, isn't that like saying that we're bad? No. Now we could take the time to say, how could we show up in more authentic? Like now we have mitzvos ritzaynecha. You know what I mean? It's not anymore about I didn't say this with enough kavanah, I'm terrible, and I didn't do this. Now we have a whole like Teres Mashiach, a whole expanded way of tshuva, which is really about the higher tshuva, returning to our authentic selves. So now we don't have to focus if we did this perfect and that. We could focus on how could I make my life kisei salmachama in the way of kisavai. What could I make easier? What was I doing too much this year that stressed me out? what could I do differently? So it's like everything is still true. You just have a different way of going about it. Now we're going for the higher tshuva. The higher tshuva is returning to our essence. And that requires using the lights of Tohu. But the Rebbe made it very clear many, many times in the sicha. Yeah, sure.
It's just interesting about that the Rebbe uses this example of the captive, that cries for a month. So, and then what you just said, like, I'm sure there's a connection. But I'm trying to like understand it deeper. That I remember reading somewhere when we were at this parsha that why does the captive have to cry? It seems like so cruel, but the reason why whoever the soldier was, whatever, has to wait a month because you have to see, like, is it lust or is it true love? Because if he just is able to enjoy her right away, it's lust. You found a beautiful girl.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
But when she cries for a month, it's, do you love her essence or do you just love her body? And because it's like, do you love her emotions? Do you love her essence? Like, and it's like lust passes quickly. So I feel like when you're saying about teshuvah, it's like, it's not about the quick fix, not about the perfection, the lust. It's about really showing up with our essence.
Yes, that's beautiful. Because I didn't even think of the connection. But Taka, it's like now we're becoming true to ourselves. So there's a connection over here. It's like we're becoming authentic and true through this work. So it's such a perfect mashal because this is really what we're doing is getting authentic and not superficial anymore. And connecting to our essence. So that's a beautiful connection. And through this, we come to the completion of the Geula as alluded to in what is written in our Torah portion. And after this, you can come to her and be her husband and she will be for you a wife, right? Because now you're connecting to her in an authentic way. You're not using her, she's not an object, all that. This is like the matter in where it says on that day, Bayom Hahu, in the days of Mashiach, she will call, I think I wrote something different. To me, my man. I might have to correct it. As our sages have said, in the days of Mashiach, there will be a marriage, as it says, Ki ba alecha osayach, because you will make me your husband. So yes, so now it's Taka, the Rebbe is connecting it here. I didn't really understand it, but thank you for helping us understand it, is that it's very connected to the marriage that we're going to have with Hashem, because are we connecting superficially because we don't want to go to hell or we want to look good, right? Or are we connecting because we're connecting to becoming one with Hashem? And that's a whole different relationship. And that relationship is only through peace and serenity. You can't have a relationship in a marriage which is stress and fighting. It has to be, right, peaceful and loving and face-to-face unity. So that's the connection, because are we connecting to Hashem through our essence, which requires using those Tohu lights?
What does it mean? Wait for a month, like from the perspective, like the shot.
What was the question?
It mean for a month? Like allow her to mourn? Like
yeah. So when we went to war, right? And in that same parsha, Seitzei, right? And they were allowed to take captives of the women, right? And if they wanted to be intimate, it was halachas of what you have to do before you could be intimate with the captive women. So you have to let them, grow their hair long and their nails, and let them cry for mourn their parents. And if you still want them after 30 days, you still love them, then you could be intimate. Does that answer the question? Rafi?
Yeah, I guess I'll just, well, that's fine, thanks.
Okay, we could always continue on the chat. And according to this, we could say that in the month of Elul, it is emphasized the connection of the two matters of service and reward, as the beginning of the service of the following year is after and a continuation of the completion of the service, and anyways, also the payment of the reward of the passing year. Okay, so there's also a connection with Elul in that it's like beginning of the right? Elul, okay. What's the first? Now I'm getting confused already. Okay. Anyway, so the bottom line is that Elul is also sort of like a combination of the past year and the next year, right? So you're supposed to get paid for all the good things that you did in this year. So it's again the Seitzei and the Kisava. and the connection. And it's all about connecting to essence. And this matter is alluded to also in the name of Elul. The Rashi Tevis of are Ani l'daidi v'daidi li. I am to my beloved as my beloved is to me. For the beginning of the service is in the way of arousal from below. I am to my beloved, and then my beloved is to me. Okay, so we're the ones that have to initiate. So who's doing this work, right? We're the ones bringing geula. We're the ones that are in charge of our bodies and our actions and our choices. We're the ones that have to start living in a geula way, which is in a more peaceful, relaxed, calm state of being, not state of doing, and using what we need, right? Tuning into your body, tuning into your heart. And then my beloved is to me. Then you become attractive and Hashem starts bringing things to you, whatever you need. We don't know, but there's no agendas. You don't know what Hashem's going to bring you at any moment. So you might think you need that, but he might say, you know what? If I'm going to give you what you think you need, it's going to distract you and you'll become even more busy. So I'm going to wait until you're really good at what you do, and then I'll give it to you. So, but I'll give you other things. There's always, you're going to see, if you're doing the work, you do see brachas in different ways. You might not see it the way you think it should be, but Hashem has a reason for it. Okay?
Can I give an example of this?
Sure.
I just think I know even for my journey, it took me a long time to really, I guess, surrender and accept and embrace pain, as part of the journey. And I started realizing it's so interesting, how it works. As soon as we're ready for the next stage, let's say, for example, just to make it really practical, in my life, a week and a half ago, I started feeling this place of total presentness, in a way that I never experienced before. Hineni, I'm here. I just no agenda, no nothing. It was just oh my gosh, I've just arrived in my body, and it was this amazing experience. And then from that place, all of a sudden, it was welcomed all this crazy pain that came in my heart, because I've never been so present. So my heart was so open, and then I experienced so much pain. So if I didn't understand, it would be oh, what's the point? Now I'm in so much pain. But really, all the pain that came in my heart, last week when I went through so much, it was the pain that was blocking me my whole life from being that level of present. So Hashem's oh, I see you've worked so hard. You're ready to be this present. So now let's just show you come to the surface, all this pain that you've been avoiding your whole life that's blocking you from being this present. Let it just come up, bubble up, just hold space for it, love it, and it will just get away. And now you'll come back to peace, and that pain's gone. And now you could really be here.
Right. That's schar mitzvah, which the Rebbe says. That's exactly what it is. Schar mitzvah is the added mitzvahs of Ritzayin Hashem, that you get another opportunity to heal and take off another layer of all the past traumas that we were holding on to. But we see, once you're doing this work, you're ready, you know the game. You know what I mean? It's okay, I know what this is. So you don't get upset. You're okay, I know that it's going to take me to an even more surrendered place, and I love that place. So, you're okay with it. And you sort of know Hashem more, and you love Hashem more. Okay. Okay. And this, okay. So this is the unification of the Ani, the I, and the Daidi, beloved, the Jewish people and Kadosh Baruch Hu, in the way of marriage. V'hayu l'bsar echad, and you will be as one flesh. Yisrael and Kodesh Baruch Hu are as one. As it is emphasized in the completion and sealing of the 40 days, which is hinted to in the 4 yuds in the Sefer Torah of the phrase Ani l'daidi v'daidi li. So there are 4 yuds. So yud is 10. So that's 40 days, right? And from Chodesh Elul is 30 days, and Yom Kippur is another 10 days. That's 40 days. Okay. So there's 40 days till the day of Yom Kippur, and Yom Kippur is considered the day of our wedding. Okay. I think that's the day that Hashem gave us the second Sarah said the second set of luchos. So that's the day of our marriage, right? Where we're coming to a better relation, to a more tshuva relationship with Hashem. So that's the day we were given the last set of luchos. Okay, until the compilation of the. Okay, I'm out of completion. I think it's completion of the marriage in the days of Mashiach. So I have to fix that. Okay. Also, I just want to finish this ice, okay, and then we'll stop, okay, and we'll continue next week. I think we just have next week. We'll finish off the whole thing. It's beautiful stuff. Okay, where are we up to? Okay, and the words of the, I think we're up to this. No, okay. Okay. Also to bring to the attention that the word nisuya, marriage, is also from the word nasai, to lift up. Nisiyas Reish, lifting up of the head, in which her completion is the time of Mashiach. As it says on this, Yaraim v'nasai ugava ma'id, he will be extremely exalted and uplifted and higher than all. Okay, so this Avodah, I would say, uplifts us and allows us to become like, we don't feel like victims. Whoever's doing this work, seriously doing this work, stops feeling like a victim. You start feeling more empowered. Okay, I know what to do with this. I know what it's all about. I'm not a victim. This is good. This is bringing me to reveal more of my truth. I feel stronger. I feel more fearless. I feel more courageous. So it's really uplifting us, and it's so beautiful when we're on this journey. And through his efforts, it becomes the completion of Nisiyas Reish, uplifting of the head of every single person of Klal Yisrael. Okay, you become really strong inside and solid, and particularly, and you don't feel like a victim. That's the beauty. And particularly through the kindling of the spark Mashiach, which is in them, in the aspect of Yechida, the most transcendent part of the soul, directly emanating from essence. Yechida liyat chetcha. The Yechida in order to be unified, which is unified with the Yechida of the world, the true singularity of the world. Okay, so when we do this work, we connect to the oneness of Hashem, and that's like, it allows us to feel that the whole entire world is really one. Everything is Hashem. And the special emphasis is on everything we mentioned above in regards to the month of Elul of the year Tafshin and Alef. Tiyeh shnas niflois arenu. Tihiyeh, it should be, is a language of command, be it in relation to the revelation of the coming of Mashiach, who is very uplifted, exalted, and be it in relation to the marriage of Knesset Yisrael and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem and the Jewish people, which will be in the days of Mashiach. But we're already experiencing tastes of it right now, because if you're doing the work, you start feeling more connected to Hashem. And in the words of Yalkut Shemaini, the year that the King Mashiach will be revealed, he will stand on the roof of the Beis HaMikdash and say, Anavim higiyah zman ge'ulaschem, humble ones, the time for your redemption has arrived. And because we now find ourselves in the last month of the year, it is impossible to push off Chas v'shalom, the fulfillment of this promise, and it must be fulfilled, take of miyad, immediately, even on this day of Shabbos Kodesh. And in simple, one was finished, and in simple terms, the month of Elul of the year Tafshin and Alef is the completion and sealing of our deeds and service of all the time of duration of Galus. And anyways, we immediately receive the reward of the days of Mashiach and Tchias HaMesim, up to the reward of the 7,000 matan scharan shel tzadikim, lasad lavai, the giving of the reward of the tzadikim in the future to come, but in the present. Okay, the Rebbe is saying we have to live in a peaceful state of being, in a state of pleasure, state of joy, and we're the ones that have to do that work to get ourselves there, and that is through accessing the Tohu lights. And we learned that today. It was even more strengthened that's the rucho shel Moshiach, is the Tohu lights that was hovering and waiting to be received when we were ready. That's the chiddush of today. But in the present, on this very day, and in particular, close to the end of the time, menucha, serenity, and in this minute, mamash. Okay, so we finished what we wanted to finish today. What time is it? It's 2:44. So I'm gonna stop the recording, and then if anybody wants to share anything before we go off, I just want to see where the recording is. 1 second, I'm trying to find. Where is the recording? No, 1 minute. Sorry, just wondering why I can't find it. Or did I forget to record it? I hope not. Sorry. Anybody knows the screen? Let's see, I'll do stop share first. Maybe I'll be able to find. Pause, stop recording.